If you use Claude Code, you know the plugin market is absolutely insane right now. New skills, CLIs, MCPs coming out every single day, and it's hard to keep up and actually separate the strong ones from the weak. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you my top 5 plugins that I use on a daily basis, and we're going to go through them. I'm going to show you how to set them up so you can actually be more productive inside of Claude Code. Now, like I mentioned, tons and tons of new tools are coming out every single day, and it's hard to keep up. You don't need to know all of these new tools though. You just need to find ones that work for you, and hopefully I'll share a few in this video that you can use to boost your productivity. So let's get straight into it. The first one that we're going to be diving into is the Google Workspace CLI. Now, this has been getting talked about a lot over the past couple of weeks. I have been using it and I've been finding it really, really useful. Basically, what it is it's just one CLI for all of Google Workspace. So we're basically giving Claude access to our Google Workspace. Then it can create slides, sheets, documents, reply to our emails, anything really that we do within Google. Now, it's super, super useful. Basically, there's so much possibilities with this because I can ask Claude to read my emails, reply to important emails, generate me a slide deck for a project, or generate me a document or a sheet, whatever really. Now, it's really easy to set up. I'm inside of the GitHub for it now, and you can see that we've just got this one command here. So all we need to do is just copy and paste that straight into the terminal within Claude Code. Okay, so I'm inside of a new Claude Code project now, and I'm going to show you exactly how to set up the Google CLI so you can use it for yourself. Now, what I usually do when it comes to this stuff, I just copy and paste the GitHub link straight in and tell Claude Code to install it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Hey Claude, I want to install the Google CLI inside of this project. I'm going to send you the GitHub link now. I need help and a step-by-step walkthrough of how to set this up. And then once we've done that, we're just going to run that. And Claude Code will go out and search through that GitHub repository, find out all the information that is needed to set this up correctly, and return a plan for us on how to set this up. So I'm going to wait for that. It's come back with a step-by-step walkthrough on how to get the Google Workspace CLI set up in this project. So let's have a look. Install the CLI, then authenticate. Then we're going to have to go to Google Cloud Console, set up a project there, get our API keys and credentials so that Claude will be able to access our Google Cloud Console. And then we'll just verify everything works. And then we'll actually go from there. So let's start the process now. So once you've run that command inside of your terminal, we will then be prompted to actually set up a Google Cloud Auth inside of Google Cloud Console. Now, this is the trickiest step, but don't worry, it's actually really easy. I've covered stuff like this on the channel before when we've actually set up Google Drive connections within NAN. But all you need to do is just follow this step by step, but I'll actually show you how to do it right now. Okay, so I'm inside of Google Cloud Console, and I'll just quickly run through this with you. So what you need to do, you want to make sure that you're in your right account. Create a new project. We'll just call it that for now, just for the purpose of this video. And while that's spinning up, basically we need to select what API keys we are wanting to use essentially different platforms. So Google Drive, emails, docs, sheets, slides, all of that stuff, but I'll show you how to do that. So let's make sure we're in that project. We'll hit select project, and then we will click on APIs and services. Now we need to quickly set up our OAuth consent screen, so just click on that there. Get started, and then just go through this. You can use internal or external. I'm going to use external for this. I'm just going to type in my email, and then we're going to create that there. Now, once we've done that, we want to actually create our credentials. So if we go back to APIs and services, click on credentials, create credentials, and then click on OAuth client ID. Application type is going to be desktop app. I'm going to hit create here. And then our credentials are going to pop up on the screen here. Now this step's important. We want to download this as a JSON. So we'll hit download there, save that to your desktop, and then we'll move on to the next step. So the next step being actually enabling those APIs that we want to use. So if we just come to the search bar here, we type in Google Drive API. We'll enable this. I'll then go to Gmail API. We will then enable this, and then we'll also just do one more, Slides API, and we'll enable this one as well. Once you've done all those, head back to Claude Code and we'll move on to the next step. Now, what you want to do is you want to grab that credentials JSON folder that we downloaded from Google Cloud Console, and you want to upload it to this directory here. All you need to do is just search that in your Finder and it will pop up, and then you just drag and drop your credentials folder into that folder. Then you want to run GWS auth login, and it will open up your browser so you can sign into your Google account. Make sure you sign in to the right Google account here, and then once you've done that, move on to step 5, which is verifying your status. And then the final step, we can actually test it out. So let me go ahead and do all this, and then we'll move on to testing. So this is the folder that I just mentioned, being the file folder that we want to actually drop our credentials in. So you can see I've renamed mine client_secret. Now, if you do that with yours, it will work completely fine. Once you've done that, go back to Claude Code, go through the final steps, run it, log in through Google, and you will be good to go. So I've gone ahead and set this up, and I've asked it to retrieve my 10 most recent emails, and you can see my 10 most recent emails have popped up there for me. But the possibilities are endless with this. Let's try something else out actually, and we'll actually get to create a document for me. So I've asked it to create me a Google Doc about Claude Code and plugins, and then it's gone ahead and said it's created the document for me. Now let me add content to it. So let's see what it comes up with. It's completed, the document done, your Google Doc has been created and populated with content. Let me open it for you. Let's head over there. So it's given us a full document on Claude Code and different plugins. So MCPs, skills, custom skills, Google Workspace CLI, the one that we've just installed, best practices, and a bunch more. So that's pretty cool, but that's just the surface of what the Google CLI can actually do. If we add in our brand guides and different context about our business or your personal brand or whatever you have, you can get it to create really, really nice custom documents for you or slide decks based on what you give it. And again, you can combine this with different skills, which we'll talk about later as well. But let's move on to the next plugin. So the next add-on we're going to be adding into Claude Code is Supabase. Now, if you haven't heard of Supabase, basically what it is it allows you to create databases, vector databases, RAG databases, authentication, all of that stuff inside of Claude Code. Now, I've used Supabase many times on this channel before with inside NAN, but now with the shift happening to Agentic and Claude Code, I'm going to show you how to set it up inside of Claude Code. Now, Supabase has an MCP and a CLI, but we are going to be using the CLI in this example. And we're going to set it up pretty much exactly the same way as we set up the Google Workspace CLI. We're not going to obviously be creating the stuff in Google Cloud Console, but we're going to go to the Supabase CLI GitHub, copy that GitHub URL, paste that into Claude Code, and basically just repeat the process there. Inside of the Supabase CLI GitHub now, and one thing I just wanted to mention before we move on is best practice when you install a CLI into Claude Code, ideally you want to include some skills so that Claude knows how to use that CLI in a specific way. Now, when we installed the Google Workspace CLI within their GitHub, they had skills pre-built, so they would have been installed straight away. But for other tools, I'd always recommend looking through the GitHub for skills, pre-built skills that we can add to Claude Code, so that Claude just understands and knows how to use it in the right way. But yeah, let's copy this URL, put it into Claude, and tell it to install the Supabase CLI. What I'm actually going to do, instead of the way that I said to install the Supabase CLI, which you can definitely do, I'm going to run this inside of the terminal instead of locally. So let's run this now. So just while that's running in the background, like I mentioned a second ago about looking for skills when installing CLI, Supabase actually has that for you here, and I'll leave a link to this in the description of this video, so you can see they have all of these skills ready to go for you that you can use, which makes it really, really easy. So Supabase has been installed in this new project. I've just run Supabase login inside of the terminal, and then we get a message back saying hello from Supabase, please enter to open your browser and log in automatically. Once you do that, Supabase CLI has been installed. So that's number 2. Let's move on to the third plugin and add-on. So the next add-on or skill that we're going to be talking about is Skill Creator. Now, we've done a full deep dive on the Skill Creator skill on this channel before, so I'll leave a link somewhere on the screen now or in the description so you can check that video out. But this is extremely, extremely powerful. Now, skills are the lifeline of Claude Code. They are the prompts, skills that actually give our workflows instructions on how to do certain things. Like I previously mentioned for Supabase and the CLI, without skills to know actually how to use the CLI properly, Claude won't know how to use it. So it's extremely important to install those skills. But in terms of Skill Creator, we could already create skills within Claude Code. Now, when we created those skills, we didn't know if they worked correctly. There was no way to test them out, and there was no way to modify or improve those skills. Now, with Skill Creator, we can do all of that stuff. So we can create new skills, we can modify them, we can improve existing skills, we can measure skill performance, and many, many more things. So we can optimize an existing skill, run evals to test the skill, benchmark skill performances, many, many things on here. So this is very, very important, and probably is a staple that you should have in every project now, and you should always be testing skills out and trying to improve them. But Claude actually released a full article where they do a deep dive on everything here. They show before and after using Skill Creator and running evals, and a bunch more information here. So again, I'll leave this in the description, but we have covered this on the channel before. Now, Skill Creator is really, really easy to set up. So let's jump to Claude Code and I'll show you how to do that. Come to your Claude Code, just type in /plugin. And then in the search bar, we'll just type in Skill Creator. And then we'll just hit enter and we'll install it for everyone here. Now, Skill Creator has been installed. It's as simple as that. Now, let's ask what Skill Creator can actually do for us. So you can see what I've done is I've installed the Skill Creator, I've run reload plugins, and then I've asked what can Skill Creator, the new plugin that I installed, do for me, and it's come back with a bunch of stuff here. So it can create new skills, test and evaluate skills, and improve skills and optimize skill triggering, as well as package skills. So this, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important things that you can have inside of Claude Code at the moment. So get this installed, and yeah, let's move on to the next add-on. The next plugin is going to be the NotebookLM CLI. So the backbone of research, creating infographics, all of that stuff, we can now do through NotebookLM's CLI. It's really easy to set up. Now, NotebookLM doesn't have an API key or anything like that, so this actually allows us to use it inside of Claude Code, which is extremely powerful, and it's actually really, really easy to set up. All you need to do is just run this command inside of your Claude Code terminal, exactly like we've been doing for every other add-on up until this point. And then you just want to basically just walk through the process. So it's going to ask you to log into NotebookLM and add in a notebook, and then you can chat with your sources, generate content, download artifacts. All of the stuff you can do within NotebookLM, you can now do inside of Claude Code with this CLI. Now, this being a CLI, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be needing some skills to tell Claude Code how to actually use this CLI. And NotebookLM have these skills here. So here you can see agent setup, option 1, NotebookLM skill install, option 2, skill add, and then that will fetch the skill.md files directly from GitHub, so that Claude Code knows how to use the NotebookLM CLI correctly. Onto the final tool then. Now, this tool is all about web scraping. So this tool is the Firecrawl skill and CLI. Essentially, what Firecrawl does is it goes out, scrapes the web, and returns data in a format that can easily be processed by AI. Now, the skill and the CLI is actually extremely easy, probably the easiest one to set up of this video. All you need to do is just run this one line inside of your terminal, and that is it. You install the skill and the CLI so that Claude will actually know how to use it straight off the back, essentially making it really, really powerful. Now, all you need to do is just search Firecrawl CLI in Google and this will pop up. In this article here, Firecrawl actually give us some core commands, so scrape, search, browser, crawl, and map. Now, they probably all sound like the same command, but don't worry, you don't really need to know how to use these because Claude knows how to use them already with the skill that is downloaded and installed with the CLI. How this works, you just run that inside of Claude Code. The skill teaches your agent about Firecrawl and its capabilities, and then whenever your agent needs to scrape the web, it will use the Firecrawl CLI and use that automatically, making it extremely powerful and extremely useful to have inside of your Claude Code agents. That's all from me. There's 5 quick add-ons you can use in Claude Code. All of them I use every single day. They're extremely powerful. Hopefully you can take one of these and find it really, really useful and use it every day yourself. But thank you very much for viewing this video. Hit the subscribe button. What I'll do is I'll leave all the links to the GitHub repositories and all of the other pages in the description and in my free school community that you can join from the description below. Again, thank you very much for viewing this video, and I hope you all have a great day.